Thank you so much, Jim, and good morning, Slow. I've got a great story for you guys, but I've got to start it on one of the hardest days of my life, December 29th of 2016. I was hiking up at Bishop's Peak with my girlfriend, and I took a misstep that caused me to fall about 30 feet. As a result of that fall, I sustained a spinal cord injury. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to fast forward a few hours to Stanford Hospital, where I was in one of those MRI scanners. I was all alone for the first time since the accident, so it was really the first chance I had to make sense of what had happened to me. I was in quite a bit of pain right around my belly button area, and below that, I could feel nothing. And to be honest, I was in turmoil. I was thinking everything you'd expect someone to be thinking in that situation. Will I ever walk again? How am I going to go back to school, work, raise a family, or even just live a normal life? Things that I'd once taken for granted seemed impossible. I went into surgery shortly after, and the next few days were a delirious blur thanks to some pretty strong painkillers, but I came to the conclusion that I couldn't be whole unless I beat impossible odds and regained the ability to walk. Nonetheless, I told myself that no one like me had ever been injured before, and if I worked harder than anyone else, I could be the one in a million. After all, in my mind, it was the only option, so what did I have to lose? After a few more days in ICU, I was transferred over to Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, where I was to begin rehab. I went in embracing this mantra that with enough hard work, I could beat my injury. I stayed positive, learning as much as I could about the injury and working as hard as I could to change it. And I wasn't alone. I was surrounded by these other people going through things so much worse than I was, and I was amazed at the bravery that I saw in these everyday people who had had this disruption in their life. It was amazing to see how the human spirit could persevere after something so devastating. After a few weeks, I was stronger, I was smarter, but in terms of my injury, nothing had changed. I still had zero sensation or motor control below my level of injury, but I was happy. I'd found passion somewhere that I would have never imagined. I came into rehab looking for a cure. I went in thinking that I'd walk out of there, that was the ultimate goal, that's becoming whole. And when I left, I realized there's a whole lot more to being whole. For me, that was discovering that happiness is the most worthwhile pursuit that anyone can have. The cure for me was in the struggle. That was the recovery, and I left the hospital inspired. I started seeing my injury as less of a burden and instead an opportunity. This realization, it sparked some excitement, and a new mantra was born. If I'm going to be paralyzed, well, then I might as well be really good at it. I might as well be the best paraplegic that I can be. This started out with simple things like learning to navigate curbs and stairs, things that in a wheelchair are fairly tough, but these things enabled me to go back to school, go out with my friends, and get back to the normal life that I once never thought possible. But like I said, I really wanted to be as best as I can be, and I thought that sports was really where I was going to find my niche. I was a volleyball player before, so I figured I'd be able to carry that over to something now. So I start looking around for things to try. I tried tennis, swimming, basketball, all things that I wasn't particularly good at before, and, well, the wheelchair hadn't helped. But eventually, I found mono-skiing. I'd seen videos of these guys flying down the mountain on a single ski and just laying these things over. And right away, I knew, this is for me. This is really where I'm going to find my niche. So I drive up to Tahoe with a buddy of mine, and I rent one of these mono skis. And we get up to the top of this pretty gradual run, and I set off. Instantly, I fall down. But I get myself back up, and I think, this might take 2 or 3 times before I really get the hang of the balance. I'm new to it. So I set off again, and this time, the same thing. It took me 3 hours to get to the bottom of that run. By the end of the day, I couldn't push my wheelchair because I was so sore from pushing myself back up. But I was smiling the whole time. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I knew I'd figure it out. Fast forward to today, and I just finished my second season. I'll be returning to Park City, Utah next year to race with the Paralympic development team, so it all worked out. But if it hadn't have been such a struggle, it wouldn't have been near as rewarding. That's what made it so enjoyable. Joseph Campbell said, "I don't believe that people are searching for the meaning of life as much as they are the experience of being alive." And these challenges, they're part of being alive. Fighting through them helps us grow and shapes us into the people that we are today. Learning to embrace obstacles and see them as opportunities hasn't just helped me get through them, but it's helped me find joy in every part of life. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.